Hello friends, my name is Dr. Jyoti Prakash, Assistant Professor, Department of Management, School of Management Sciences, Lucknow. I hope you all are safe and healthy at your homes. In the lecture series of Marketing of Services and in Unit 2, the next topic is New Service Development Process. In your marketing management that you have studied in your first semester, you must have studied the product development stage, means there are certain stages which are gone through by a marketer in order to develop a new product. So, in the same way, if a service provider want to provide services to the customers as per the expectation or as per the requirement of them, then there is also a process for developing a new service. So, without any delay, just let us start the class. So, as the name itself refers that it is a process, so obviously it involves certain stages, and being a service provider, if they want to develop a particular service, they have to go through these particular stages or the steps in order to develop a new product. Like the first step is what? Business strategy development or review. The second one is new service strategy development, the third one is idea generation and then screening of ideas. Next one is concept development and testing, business analysis, service development and testing, market testing, commercialization and post introduction evaluation. It is somehow similar to the process of developing a new product, but there is some sort of differences between the development process of a product or a service. And these stages are basically bifurcated into two important functions like front end planning and implementation, because one of the characteristic of services is inseparable, means the services cannot be separated from its providers. So, planning should be done first and then after the implementation part should be done by the service provider. So, before developing a new service, a planning should be required. So, in front end planning there are certain stages involved in like business strategy development, new service strategy development, idea generation, concept development and business analysis. And after going through all these stages, the service provider is now confident whether or can take decision regarding whether to develop the service or not, and then after he or she can take decision accordingly regarding implementing and executing and going further for developing the new product or not. So, in the later slide we will have a discussion on these stages one by one. So, the first aspect, that is front end planning, means the planning of development of the new service is done earlier. So, obviously, it is the first step come under front end planning is business strategy development. What is the meaning of business strategy development? Means if a service provider want to offer a service to the customer, then firstly he or she has to decide the mission and vision of the company, means what mission and what vision they want to achieve by offering a service for the survival or for the existence of the particular firm. So, being a firm or being a service provider, firstly the first step that is to be decided by the service provider, that is to determine the mission and vision aspect of the company. What is the meaning of mission? Mission is all about reason of existence or short term goal that the company wants to achieve. And the if we talk about vision statement or vision aspect for the company, that for a vision stands for basically a long term goal that the company wants to achieve in a future time period or in a coming time period. So, before developing a service, while if a company wants to develop a service, the motive behind developing that service, that should be clear, means the company should be clear in terms of its mission and vision statement. So, as per the mission and vision statement of the company, the process steps further, the steps go further, and the second step or the second stage is what? New service strategy development. New service strategy development is all about in this particular stage the company basically decide which type of strategy they are going to adopt in order to develop a new strategy. Suppose for having a clear understanding of different strategy regarding development of new service. So, basically these are the strategies of developing a new service, in which there are two parameters like market and the offerings. Market is all about the segment or the target market that the company or that the service firm wants to cover or capture, and the offerings means the services that they are that the service firms are providing to the customers, either in older version or the new one. So, the first parameter, that is market, in it is also divided into two aspects like current customers and new customer, and the offering means the service that the service firm is already providing to the customer, that is all about existing services, and if the service firm wants to offer new service, then it is new services. So, there are two considerations while going through the concept of this particular matrix that has been given by Ansoff. The source has been mentioned that HI Ansoff has given the concept of this service strategy development. So, under this there are two important considerations. The first one is market and the second one is the service. And in market there are two considerations also involved, the current customer and new customer, and in offering there are two considerations too, like the existing services and new services. Okay. Just look at the first quadrant, that is share building, means it is all about the scenario of the current market, means the service provider is providing the current service to the current customers, that is all about share building, means the company is now offering some sort of some type of service to the customers and trying to build up the market share from that level of service. The second quadrant, if we see that market development, the name itself refers that market development means developing the market, means developing or adding more and more market segment to that particular service sector, means here the customer is new, but the service is existing. Okay. Just see this particular quadrant, new customers and existing services. Market development means development of the market, means development, adding or development of some another segment to that particular service that is already being offered by the service provider, that is all about market development. New services, okay, look at this particular quadrant, service development. Here the development of services is being offered by the or done by the customer. Here the customer is current, but the service is new. वही customer base है, but the service provider is thinking to offer a new type of service to them. So, that is all about service development. And the last quadrant, that is diversification. Here the customer is new and services is also new. Okay. We will have an understanding with the help of an example or with the help of some examples like share building. Share building is all about taking the scenario of the current market कि बहुत सारे सर्विस फर्म्स हैं और वो अलग अलग तरीके के सर्विसेज ऑफर कर रही हैं. करेंटली वी एज कस्टमर्स आर ऑफरिंग और अवेलिंग और एक्सपीरियंसिंग दैट type of service. The second one is market development, like new customers and service development. If we talk about if a retail firm or if a departmental store is having a particular customer base, and during this COVID situation now they have started the services of free home delivery, then the customer base is existing, but they have added one more service. They are now providing one more service to the customer base, that is all about service development. Now market development, suppose see we can take one example of a saloon that is for men only, and obviously the services are offered under saloon, they are offering to the customers to men only, but now they have converted their saloon into unisex, matlab now male and female both can go and avail the services. So, that is all about market development, means that saloon has added one more segment to that particular services. And the last one is diversification, like banks and insurance companies are now day by day offering different policies and different plans to different customer group, that is all about the example of diversification. So, the second stage, that is all about new strategy development. After having a clear understanding about the mission and vision, the company has to decide which strategy they are going to adopt for providing the services or for developing the services, either share building, either market development, service development or diversification. Then as per the strategy the service firm has adopted, suppose the service firm is now taking strategy or thinking about market developing or service development. So, according to that in the next stage idea generation, the next stage is idea generation, yani ki the service firm basically generated ideas or solicits ideas from its employees and customers for having an idea about the new service, about the new offerings that they want to offer to the customers, and accordingly employees and customers they all will give their suggestions and ideas to the concerned company, and for that purpose formal brainstorming session is conducted by the service firm. Brainstorming is all about soliciting idea, means an immediate situation is portrayed or thrown to the employees or the other parties of the organization, and accordingly they just give suggestion regarding the particular problem or regarding the situation that they have been asked for, and by doing so the service firm basically invites or collects different ideas and viewpoint of different parties or different persons, and how ideas can generated, obviously by having an idea or by knowing about the different competitors offering and their strategy, what they are offering, what strategy they have adopted in order to capture the mass market or in order to fulfill the customer expectations. So, it is also very important, if you want to generate idea, you just copy, you just try to know the offerings and the strategy of your competitors, what they are doing regarding their offerings and regarding to their basically customer base. And collaboration with outsiders, simply कहने का मतलब you can take also advices from your intermediaries, from your traders, from your suppliers, from some consultancies, yeah, from some agents and brokers, you can take ideas regarding development of the services. So, the third stage is what? Idea generation, and how the company or how the service firm is generating ideas, going through or by following all these points or all these sources, means employees and customers can contribute or can give their ideas by conducting brainstorming sessions, by going through or by identifying or supervising, analyzing the competitors offering they have introduced in the market, and the last one is collaboration with outsiders, means maintaining a relationship with outsiders like traders, agents, retailers, wholesaler, and from those persons you can also take an idea. And in this step one particular action is also conducted. ये बहुत सारे आइडियाज़ कंपनी के पास आते हैं, बट हर एक आइडिया इज़ नॉट एग्जैक्ट एंड appropriate. So, screen out of the generated ideas. Here the service firm basically screen out the unsuitable ideas and suggestion and select the relevant idea or feasible ideas, so that they can work on that. So, after screening the ideas, a particular concept is basically developed regarding developing of a new service, and it is also being evaluated by the service firm that the concept and that the design they are using for developing the service, that is exact, that is accurate or not, that will fulfill the expectations of the customers or not, that is to be checked out through evaluation process or by doing evaluation and supervision process. So, in this stage basically a concept of the proposed service that is to be developed here, and that has to be tested and evaluated by the service firm or by the concerned person who is basically who has been given the responsibility of developing the service. Next one is business analysis. In the previous stage, like the service concept development and evaluation, here the service firm is now in a state now they are having a clear idea or having a clear picture about the proposed services. So, that clear idea must be supported by the financial condition of the company. So, the next step is what? Business analysis. analysis of the overall condition of the business, overall condition or financial condition of the particular firm, that the concept development of that the concept developed by going through the previous stages, that should be supported by the company or the resources of the company or not. So, in this step basically demand analysis, revenue projection, cost analysis and other feasibility analysis is being done by the firm, so that they can be in a state of confidence we can go further and we can now develop that particular service that has been decided or that has been selected by the service firm. So, in this particular step or stage, the analysis of overall service firm is being done in terms of the demand analysis, the revenue projection and the cost that they are going to bear in order to avail or in order to provide that particular service. This stage also involves the cost of hiring, training, personnel, delivery system. Like obviously we have talk or we have a discussion about the importance of people. One of the important element of the service marketing mix, obviously these representative or these people of the service firm deliver the service to the customers, and how effective they are, because they are the front face for the service firm. So, how effectively they are interacting with the customer for making available the service to them. So, it is very important that you have to assume, you have to project the cost of hiring that type of personnel, that type of human resource in the organization, so that accordingly you can fulfill your objective by getting an interaction with your employees, with the selection of a good human resource with the customer. So, you have to analyze the by this perspective too. And overall basically you have to analyze overall feasibility analysis of the firm, so that minimum requirement or minimum cost you are able to recover. So, in totality we can say that in this particular step, the overall analysis of the business firm in terms of resources like financial, human and physical resources is being done by the service firm, so that accordingly they can take decision regarding going further in order to develop the service. Now, the service firm is ready to develop or now ready to offer that developed service to the customer. So, the second step is what? Implementation. जितने भी planning पहले के stages में की गई है, now it's time to develop that service. So, accordingly they can be provided to the customer for fulfilling their requirement. So, in implementation, the step is like service development and testing. Whatever the concept that has been developed, that concept must be implemented in a physical form, in a evident form, so that the services can be provided or services can be in a state to provide, so that they can be provided to the customer in order to fulfill the need. For that purpose, a particular blueprint should be developed. Blueprint is all about a sketch of the proposed service, because in service one of the important element is what? Process. Means in order to deliver the service or in order to avail the service, a customer has to go to a particular process. So, you have to take care of that being a service provider, and for that purpose you have to develop a blueprint of the proposed services first. So, accordingly you can give a clear picture to the customers that if they want to avail the service, what process they have to adopt, what process they have to go through. So, for that purpose you have to develop a blueprint of the proposed services, and the testing is also being done by the concerned person here too, because while drawing or while sketching the process of the proposed services, there may happen that some correction should be required. So, accordingly testing is also done from time to time, so that exact or accurate process can be developed for distributing or for providing the services to the customer. So, I have taken one example of a blueprint of a overnight hotel stay. Hotel is what? A type of service firm, and we as customer, if we take the services of a hotel, if we suppose we go we have gone somewhere and take one hotel. So, what is the purpose behind that? Obviously, we want to take some rest we want basically take some rest in that particular hotel. So, in order to avail that particular service, we have to go or we have to follow this particular process. Like if you see, there are some like the counters, the front counters where we can interact and ask our queries regarding the availability of the room, regarding the facilities provided by the hotels, and there are certain some people involved there, like they are greeting and taking our bags, and there are certain person involved in our process of registration, delivery of bags and food delivery and process checkout, the overall checkout process done by obviously the people. So, people can, or the human resources aspect can also be taken care of that, and there are some support services like registration system, prepare food. You need not go to that restaurant and that particular place where the food is prepared, but food is one of the facility that is provided by the hotel. So, these type of things are basically what the support services that should be or that must be provided by the service organization. So, it is just like a blueprint, and a blueprint of the proposed process of the services. So, if as a customer, if we want to avail that particular services of a hotel, then we have to follow this particular process. Next is what? Market testing. Now, the new service that the company has now developed with the help of a blueprint or with the help of a sketch and ready to offer to the customer. So, market testing is done here, means after that market testing should be done, and how it is done. Suppose some of the respondents you just select out, maybe of your friends and your relatives and your neighbors, you just call them and just ask help from them, that they just go through the develop process, and how is the feel, how what is the feedback of them. They just give the feedback regarding the service, means what is the experience of them. If they are happy, if they are satisfied that you have develop a exact and accurate service and process through which a customer, if a customer is passing through, then obviously he or she will be satisfied and will be happy. So, at this stage basically pilot study has to be done for the services to be sure that the operational details are functioning smoothly. Means जो selected लोग थे उनसे आप feedback लोगे, if they are saying that you have the process that you have developed is very good, so obviously you will be confident that जो हम काम करने जा रहे हैं that is good, very good, and now we can offer this particular service at a larger level, at a mass level. Here market testing is basically done for a small segment or for a on a small number or small chunk of respondents, but by doing or by conducting a testing on a small number of respondents, you being a service provider become confident that obviously the process or the service that we are going to offer to the customers, that is very good. So, now next move we can take that it can be commercialized. Commercialization is all about the services goes live and introduced to the mass market, and at this stage basically there are two primary objective of the service firm, that is to build and maintain acceptance of the new service among large number of service delivery person who will be responsible for day to day, means that can be accepted by the mass market, and the service that we have offered to the customers and we have offered to the market, that service must live their life cycle, means the introduction, growth, maturity and decline. You must have studied in your first semester of marketing management, and you must have an idea about the life cycle. So, these two objectives must be fulfilled. In totality, we can say that in commercialization stage, the service firm is now confident enough, and now they are going to offer that service to the mass market. That is all about commercialization. Next is post introduction evaluation. Post introduction evaluation means here commercialization after if the service firm is now ready to introduce or now thought that कि now हमें अब बड़े लेवल पे और मास मार्केट को सर्विस ऑफर करना है, now the product or now the service is ready to be introduced in the market. So, this stage come after introduction. Post introduction evaluation means after the introduction of that service to the customer, the evaluation is also done by the service provider, and how it is done by taking feedback or from the retailers or from the intermediaries, from the customers. You can take feedback regarding the performance of your service, what is the service, how is the service, and what things you like most and what things you do not like, and give your suggestion, give your wish list. So, whatever the things that you have offered, you have introduced to the mass market, on those facilities and on those things you can take feedback of the customers. And obviously, one last line I have mentioned that no service will ever stay same. Obviously, जो भी सर्विस आप दे रहे हो that should not be same. Why? Because we as customer have switch our preferences or changes our preferences very frequently. So, in order to keep up pace with the changing preferences of the customers, you have to add on, you have to do certain changes in the service level or in the service quality of yours, so that accordingly time to time you can fulfill the expectation of your customers and satisfy them, and you can just able to fulfill your mission and vision statement. So, these are the steps of new service development process. One thing I would like to add more, like here in every step, after these two steps, in every steps there stop has been written there. Why? Because idea generation, if the generated ideas are not relevant, then just stop here and go back, and again you have to think on the new strategy development. Then stop here, concept development and testing. Suppose the generated ideas, whatever you have the ideas generated, those are relevant, but on you are not in a state to develop a good concept or good blueprint or a good thought by going through the screened out ideas, then you have to stop there and go to the previous step. So, in every steps, if market testing is not good, not exact, means the number of respondent you have selected, they have not given a positive feedback regarding the developed process. So, you have to stop here and go to the previous steps, and again think on the mission and vision and the new strategy and the previous steps that you have decided. So, in all the steps, stop has been written there. Purpose behind written stop is that if the things are not going as per the prescribed manner, as per the thought manner, so you have to stop that being a service provider and think again and go to the previous step, think again and just go further to develop a new service. So, these are the steps, just go through being a service provider in order to develop a service. So, these are basically the references of good books given by Zithmel and Lovelock if you want to get more understanding about the new service development process. So, just go through these references. Okay, thank you class, have a nice day. Thank you.